Hey everybody, good morning, happy Monday, and welcome back to Reaper Pro Tips with me, your host, and Disembodied Hand Quindy, Disembodied Beard John, and no ears, earless Cornico. Excellent. Boy, okay. I have allergies like crazy today, so beware there'll be much sniffling. And Clavicus, long time no chat. I see you with your sub at 61 months. Yay! Just over 5 years. That's so long. We've been here so long. And coffee, yeah. I need something. I don't need coffee, but I need something. Very rude, grumpy boss, yes. Hey, Zeku. Hey, Kiki. Did you come in? Yeah? Did you want to say hello as well? I got my bookshelf, one of my bookshelves, and I'm slowly clearing stuff off the floor. Pretty soon Kiki will have a spot. Pretty soon you'll have a spot, Keekers. Yeah, if you want to take it, this spot will be yours. You can be right next to me while I stream if you want. Yeah, I'll even turn on a fan for you. We'll see if we can train you to do that. All right, big floofy dog. It's work. Work time, Bubba. Yep, work. He's like, no, not the work. Do you want to get lap? Do you want to lap? No, she just wants patents. Yeah. So I hope this is not a cold, and I guess time will tell. I went to Sacramento yesterday to do the CrossFit thing, and like my allergies disappeared while I was there. And then the minute we crossed like the Brown Hills to get more into the Bay Area on our way back, my allergies came back. And this morning they were just awful. So I'm hoping it's just allergies. I don't know whether to hope it's a cold or hope it's allergies. At this point, the allergies have been so bad for like the last 3 weeks. I'm getting sick of them, and I'd almost rather it was cold because then I could get over it. But I have no idea. I suspect allergies, though. I have itchy throat. It's the worst. All right, let's get to Seltyiel. We're going to do some gold today. We'll use our usual mix, although we're using Ruddy Flesh instead of Rich Leather, but they're very close in color. Hold on here. Get my palette down here. Boop. There we go. Palette in focus. But yeah, I got one of my bookshelves, and last night after I got home and after we ate dinner, I made myself spend my last oomph to put the bookshelf together. So now I have some space to store all these Reaper minis. I have to go through them. I think I'm going to go through all the Reaper minis that I have for stream, and there are quite a few. And pick out the Make Them Fight for My Love. And then pick out, like, the best ones to kind of just keep here. Yeah, Cali weather is weird right now, you're right. And all the plants are all doing all the things, and one of them really hates me. But whatever it is that hates me is not, like, in Sacramento, which makes me think it's, like, redwoods or something, right? So we'll use 4 drops of this starting out. And I want a couple drops of this as well in the next 12. We'll keep this color pretty much untouched except for thinning it. That's our base color. Our highlight is going to have... this needs to be shaken better. Alright, fine. My body hates the plant. Fair. Same result, though. But the trip was fun. Like, I spent all day outdoors yesterday, pretty much. And it was fun to hang out with Allie and Andrew, my CrossFit people. There were just a few of us who went. Probably the most awe-inspiring thing I saw was rope climbing. The main event that we actually ended up sitting in watching for a lot of the different classes, levels, was a workout where... Oh, there's mimosa trees. Oh, nice, Laura. No, Laura. All right. I'll talk about CrossFit a bit. When you're DMing, it is good to have the threat of death. Okay, don't be me. Don't make that mistake. It's not a whoops, it's actually perfect. Because if your players don't sense that they could die, there's a lot less, like, tension and involvement in the game. So, maybe go back just a little bit, but don't let your foot off the gas substantially. Because, I mean, okay, 2 out of 4 maybe. Maybe then you're a little bit much. But still, that means your players are going to be, like, all in. Like, they're not going to just F around when you hit a fight. Like, your players are going to be, okay, this is serious, we could die, I don't want my character to die. And the longer the game goes, the more they're going to feel that way, right? Plus, as the characters get more powerful, you may see a shift in the power dynamic as well. So I would just keep running it as you've been running it. And as they level up, see if that problem stays, or if you actually have to get a little more hardcore. Because if you're running first level characters, they are pretty fragile. Oh, no resurrection by the skin. Yeah, but that makes it exciting. Like, there's a fine line. You've got to make sure that there's an actual threat, but at the same time, you can't be the killer DM. Unless your players are into that. Like, I wasn't. If I had a killer DM, I just didn't want to play. Like, I feel like the DM should be rooting for the characters, but should also be heavily challenging the characters. Oh, they don't have any healers. Yeah, keep the healing potions, like, keep it low if you can. Because you want that threat. I can't say it hard enough. Because it's when the fights aren't serious, like, that people feel like they're just, no matter what, they're going to win the fight with a minimal effort. That's when the game suffers, in my opinion. Unless you're running just kind of a lightweight, comedic game with a lot of roleplay, which there's also a place for, right? So it depends on what kind of game you want to run. Oh, there's my brown liner. Yay. Right, exactly. You've got to make them burn resources. You've got to threaten them. Exactly. I totally agree, Netta. And I say this coming from both ends. As a GM, it's always been very hard for me to balance the game. It always seems like I have the one character that's almost indestructible, and then 2 characters or 3 that are so fragile. And especially at low levels, this is very common, right? But it's very hard to challenge your highest, like, most durable characters without really being a threat to your little characters. So, yeah, it has both sides. It's a player. Yeah, I know Barovia. I mean, I really know it because I had the original Ravenloft module. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, they're suckfest because plot relevant. Yeah. I mean, if your players don't like it, they're going to just kind of ghost your game. Yeah, but you do want the players to feel the threat. Like, it actually does make for a better game. They might complain a lot, but it makes the game exciting. If there's no threat, it's not exciting. And then it just kind of like, your game isn't nearly as involving. Well, like I said, you don't have to run role-playing games that way. Like, my werewolf games were always full of, like, politicking and role-playing. And not death threats, for the most part. But the players loved them anyway, because they loved, like, the world and the NPCs and stuff. Oh, I need to do a light yellow. 1 second. Oh, yeah, no, things like reminding the players about the abilities they have that they maybe aren't using, like, totally a good thing to do as the DM. Especially if you have beginning players or a player that hasn't played that class before. I mean, as a player myself, like, I appreciate that. Yeah, right. If you finally like play, I play clerics too. If you finally play a character to the point where you can resurrect, it's crazy cool. Yeah. Forgot to make my light yellow. This is more my ochre color. I think I do need this a little bit more yellow, though, or I'm going to have really muted gold. And it's a fine line, like how brilliant you want your gold to be, like how yellow you want your gold to be. Often, painters will change it up depending on the color scheme of the model. This character has pretty saturated red purples, so I feel okay going a little bit brighter with the gold. Running away from a situation is valid. Yeah. That's kind of your clue that you need to play a little more cautiously as a player, right? Right, yeah. Yep, yeah, so reminding people is good. No, that sounds like great. It sounds like you're doing a great job, Laura. Yeah, I just wanted to tell you that threatening, a character being like making a death saving throw like every game is good to a point, right? Like you do want them to be on the edge there. If you do give them healing potions, make sure it's a finite source. Make sure they can't just buy up a crap ton because that'll remove the threat entirely. Like more like, maybe one of the NPCs who's bankrolling them or something says, all right, well, I've got enough to give you 2 of these, permission or something, so that it's a resource. Make them resource manage, essentially. It still includes tension then. Or if they are able to just buy up, like, a huge number of healing potions, then make them go through them. Hit them hard. Yeah, Strat, not every fight is winnable. Yep. Are you sure you want to do that? Yeah, that's the classic DM. I'm certain there's a DM t-shirt out there with that phrase on it. Are you sure you want to do that? Right, yeah, and that's where you get that, though, right? If you don't have those narrow saves, if you don't have those, like, on the edge of deaths, or if you don't have my character was awesome and died, saving the party, like, that can also be a good one, even if you lose a character and they have to start a new one. It can still be really awesome. But yeah, I mean, those are the moments you remember, right? You don't remember, like, the run-of-the-mill freaking adventures. Like, I had a really good GM when I was... after college, when I was still living in Madison. I had a really good GM. And, I really enjoyed all the games he ran. But of the D&D game that I liked so much, I hardly remember anything except the one fight where almost 3 of us died. So yeah. So it's don't feel like a bad... I guess my point is don't feel like a bad GM if your players get close to death. And do what you're doing, help them when you can in ways that matter, in ways that make sense for a GM. Just reminding them of abilities they may have forgotten, stuff like that. And as you play, they'll get better at it, right? But no, I think it sounds like you're doing great, Laura. Keep it up. The world needs more good GMs. Just getting my brushes ready here. All right. I'm going to get my pure white mixed up and we'll be good to go. Yeah, no problem. Well, you're all saying, like, in Barovia. I keep thinking of the old in Soviet Russia joke. In Soviet Russia, Wombat eats you. in Barovia. Yeah, well, it sounds like you've adapted to the demands of the campaign there, Kara. Even the most Leroy Jenkins player, like, when faced with like a game they really like and a character they really like, and the threat of losing it will get some caution burnt into them. All right, I need my pure white. Oh god, combo! Oh, that's the worst. Who would combine those? Who would combine Tomb of Annihilation and Strahd? Who? Like, what kind of GM do you have? Howdy, Matthew. We talking D&D. Yes, then the DM realized he was just supposed to chase you into town. That's funny. Seriously though, that's got to be the worst combo of modules ever. As far as most lethal to the party. Like, in that game, to be fair, your GM should have, like, just looked at you all when you made your first characters and said, okay, this is the way it's going to be. Make sure you have at least 2 backup character concepts so that 90% when your character dies, you'll be prepared. Ah, he's great and loves horror. I see. Yeah, that's horror, all right. I would not have good dreams in that game. Oh, he did. Okay, well then at least you were prepared, Netta. Yep. But also in Tomb of Annihilation, it's so true. Yeah, we're talking D&D modules and games from her age. Laura just finished GMing her second session ever as a GM. And I was telling her not to go light on the characters because she's gotten them to close to death, and I was saying that was a good thing. Don't go easy on them. They'll love you more for it. Okay. Ugh, get all this paint mixed up. Dang it. Oh, I have to do little things. I should probably use my skinny brush. Also, my allergies are terrible today. Ugh. For those who are new to the stream and haven't experienced Anne's horrible allergies today yet. Maybe it'll start calming down now that we're past the morning a bit. Yeah, I kind of miss having a D&D game, but I know that it would take time away from my writing, so I kind of I'm balancing my D&D, lack of D&D sad with trying to focus on the book. Alright, last time we finished our little NMM silver filigree on the cape. I'm going to get in focus. Yeah, they're just bad this year. Just terrible. I really like how the cape looks, guys. I really, really like it. Really, really. Oh, and I should create my shadow a little bit more warm. So I'm going to put russet brown into my brown liner. Alright. So we've got our russet brown and brown liner mixed for our shadow. We have our rich leather, or actually we're using ruddy flesh today for our mid. We have a mixture of ruddy flesh, lantern yellow, and white for our first highlight. And a mixture of lantern yellow and white alone for our second highlight. And then we have pure white. So that's my NMM Pentad. Pretty much. I often don't even use this, or I use a mixture of these two. But I do like it if I'm trying to really bring the color up slowly. Not as useful for 28s, probably. Hey there, Slayer. Ugh. Yeah, hey Slayer. Hey, but at least I can still stream, and if it is a cold that I caught instead of allergies, then you guys don't have to catch it, so yay. trees with canopies. Oh no, yeah. That's really cool that you found really good trees, though. I might have to message you and get the link to the ones you found. I always feel like trees are the hardest thing. So we're just going to start highlighting up. Let's get close. I'm working on the gold. I do feel like my yellows aren't very strong in this gold set that I've mixed up here. So if I end up being dissatisfied with them, then I'll just glaze with a stronger yellow or yellow-orange. Some of these things, there's a lot of detailing here on the side of the scabbard that I want to pick out, so I'll use my shadow color. Oh, blueberry bush is scaled up. Ah, nice. Yeah, when you're a sculptor, you have the ability. And now you should just make a My Mini Factory account, Kara, and put those up as trees. You resculpted enough. I guess you'd probably have to resculpt a little more. I don't know what the rules are about that. I assume if you take somebody else's product and transform it, like there is a point at which you could resell it. Ah, I used to sell. I see. Cool. Alright, so I'm just shading on the scabbard here. And putting in some lining around the details. Oh, you closed your store due to fees. The fees were too bad. I don't know what the structure is on that place, so... And I thought they didn't take that much, but do they? Oh, hey, good, Crexo. Oh, that's really nice. Yeah, painting the characters and then they get to keep it. That's great. I see. It wasn't furthering your goal. Well, that's fair. Like, I am pretty thrilled right now because since I turned off my Facebook ads again, I'm actually making a profit this month on my rating. It's a very small profit so far, but it's a profit and not a not profit. Let me get this edge here. Oh, yeah, 24 bucks a month, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. See, I'm okay with just breaking even on my rating because I know I've got a long way to go as far as I need to put out, you know, a lot more books before I can expect to be doing a bit better than I am. Alright, so we're going to pick up some of the relief here. It's just kind of just like filigree relief. It's just a random texture as far as I can see. So I'm not going to... Ugh. Not trying to paint an actual shape, just trying to kind of highlight the little bits that stick out. Yeah. Mess around and keep it fun, yep. Yeah, I mean, mostly I don't care. Like, when I'm running Facebook ads, I'm not making money, but I'm getting a lot more readers, so it's kind of always balanced to me. But right now, money's a little tighter, so I've just decided to turn off the Facebook ads and only run Amazons in June. Hold on. Ugh. Go away, allergies. Go away. So bad. It was so bad this morning. David didn't want to kiss me because he's like, "Are you sure it's not a cold?" And the answer was, "No, I'm not." Oh, nice. Good, Marich. Excellent. Yeah, I'm playing with the Amazon ads. I'm learning to get better at Amazon ads, so it's kind of my goal right now anyway, is to get better at them. To understand them a little better. It certainly is a lot. It feels like you have a lot more control with Amazon. No, I fund my own, like, weirdness. Kara. When it comes to, like, my Patreon and my like, freelance business, I fund it all. I do it all. So my Patreon and my Twitch stream pay for my life. And my book sales. Because I do make money, it's just that, you know, it's offset by ad costs. What's the point of getting married then? I'm able to live in Mountain View, California, where the housing prices are in the millions, and, like, you know, not have to actually, like, there's no way I could afford to live here without David. Don't tell my husband I said that. I'm sure he'd just roll his eyes. Yes, the point of getting married is that I can actually afford... Yeah, is that I can actually live in a house. He's funding where I live right now. It wasn't, like, supposed to be like this, but then we got married. Like, I really, when I was first coming out, like, right at the start of the pandemic, I was like, you know, I could just go get a place in Sacramento, and then we can come and we'd spend time together on the weekends, and, you know, we can date for a while, and blah, blah, blah. And then COVID... You know, first he was like, no, you should move in with me. Here, I got a new apartment. And then it was like, oh, COVID. Well, I guess we're stuck now. And then at the end of that, we got married, and he knew I wanted a dog. So he's like, well, we should look at houses. It freaks me out how expensive it is here. Like, this really is, I think, the most expensive place in the United States to live. Yeah, it was pretty much trial by fire. A lot of people did that in the pandemic, though. A lot of people ended up, you know, like, they just started new relationships or just moved in with their new, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend, and ended up, you know, living together for far closer and far longer than they thought. Yeah, I mean, San Diego and LA. And if you're willing, like, if you go to Sacramento, it's much more affordable. And I think Sacramento is a very nice city. Oh, Central Valley. Wow. That's crazy because Central Valley is like, forgive me, but Central Valley is a desert that's kept alive by irrigation. When I drive through it, I always think that. Yeah, San Diego housing, unreal expensive. Yep. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, housing is just ridiculous right now. Like, the American dream is, like, taking a beating. The old American dream. I don't know. The new American dream is probably different, right? Like, the new American dream is, like, do a startup or a YouTube channel and hope you go viral. It sounds an awful lot like playing the lottery. So we can see this isn't as yellow, which is fine. It'll still read as gold once I get the white in. I'm not sure. I'm just not sure how yellow I want it yet, so I'm just gonna do it in this color, and then we'll kind of judge it. And like I said, if you ever do NMM Gold and you want it more yellow, you can always glaze it like with a bright yellow or a bright yellow orange. But yeah, I think David's parents, like, they live in Seattle, like, not in the city, but like in the close suburbs to Seattle. And I think they bought their house for $20,000 40 years ago. Partial payments on your DoorDash order for Via Clama. You're so true. It's so true. It's funny because it's true. Arg. Stop running, nose. Yeah. Yeah, their house is old. I don't remember how old. It's like 1920s, I think. So it was $20,000 when they bought it. No, they didn't. I mean, it was before that because it was when David was going to be born. Is when they bought the house. So it was like 40 years ago. Yeah, it was cheap. I think probably the neighborhood has just changed over time. Because remember, in cities that there are good neighborhoods and there are less good neighborhoods. But that also changes over time, right? Like, sometimes the neighborhoods that were really kind of like beaten down a long time ago, like, suddenly they're trendy now because of just how the demographics have shifted. I mean, that's Mountain View. That's where we live right now. Mountain View used to be kind of a not great town. Like, I've talked to somebody, I think it was my mechanic. He's like, yeah, I've lived here all my life, and when I was a kid, Mountain View was just not a nice place to live at all. He said there was a lot of gang activity, and it was not a nice place to live. And but then Google moved in. Like, Google decided they wanted to, and probably they did because the property values were lower, right? Because it wasn't a nice place to live. But now these house prices are crazy. I mean, I suspect, though I'm not sure, that one of our next door neighbors, I think she lived here and bought this house back when it was not a nice neighborhood, and now she's like sitting on a house that's worth, a lot of money. And I think there's more than a few other families. I mean, that's why I see houses sold in this neighborhood. Like, it's people who've owned them forever, like, moving out, right? And just cashing in. Yeah. Well, and maybe you saw a nicer area of Mountain View than he lived in, right? He was older, though, so. But right now, I think Mountain View is one of the nicest parts of Silicon Valley. Like, it's kept its trees for the most part. It has a really nice downtown with a lot of great restaurants. Oh, over 50 years ago. Yeah, so that makes sense to me because, like, when our house was built in 1953 or 54, presumably this was, for upwardly mobile young families. That's what the targeting was on the Eichlers, right? On this house. The targeting was for young families, and it was a house built less expensively, but with kind of with the amenities that like higher end houses were getting. Essentially, it was like sound build. Like some of the best building practices were used to make these houses, but they were priced and designed for young families who didn't have a lot of money. So that would make sense because that would have been 75 years ago. And in order to attract those families, like Mountain View would have had to be a nice place to live. So yeah, it is cyclical. I bet it just went through a period where it just wasn't doing so well. So we're just doing a little bit of reflected light down here. It's funny, like, David laughed at me last night because I was talking, we were getting ready for bed, and I was telling him about, CrossFit and what I watched, and then I was like, and then I spent the day looking at skin tones. Because there are all these people shirtless or just wearing sports bras. So I was studying skin tones and the sky effects for highlights. And he's like, you're such a nerd. You went to, like, watch a sports exhibition, and you ended up just thinking about skin tones. No problem, Rach. But I did. Because it was, it was sunny for the first part of the day, but we were in the shade. And so the people who were standing, like, in front of us were also in the shade. And that means blue highlights. Because blue sky. If you're outside and you look at this, you'll see that it's real. It's like, and then later in the day, it turned overcast. So you had gray highlights, and the skin was much more saturated. Like, the shadows were more saturated than the skin highlights because the sky color was gray. So the highlights were gray. But yeah, it's just a good reminder. It isn't practical probably to do on 28s, but it is totally practical for me to do on, like, a bigger model. I mean, I might be able to make it carry on a 28. It's hard. It's hard sometimes to judge, like, when a quote-unquote realistic effect will carry well on a 28 millimeter model because you have to exaggerate things. Oh, yeah. He was still laughing at me, though, Bryce. It was pretty cool. I went to the NorCal Classic to watch as a spectator, Bryce. It's the feeder competition for the CrossFit Games in our area. And I got to watch people climb ropes. Like, guys, seriously, I've never, like, okay, I can't even do a pull-up, right? These ropes were, like, they had to be, like, 15, 18, 20 feet above the people. I think 20 feet. 18 to 20 feet. In the air. And these people were just climbing these ropes like crazy. It was, like, insane. Like, I was like, I could not even. I could have done the novice level. The novice level was essentially how you learn to climb a rope, it turns out, is you lie down with the rope, like, dropping to around, like, your waist. You grab the rope and you haul yourself up to your feet, and then you lower yourself back down, and then you do it again. And that's how you train your body to climb ropes, it turns out. That's how you start. So the basics people got to do that, like, 10 times in a row. Then after you've climbed your rope or done your whatever rope thing you're doing, you go and you do 2 giant box jumps. So jumping up onto a 20 or 24 inch box, depending on who you are. And then jump down the other side. It was like Frogger. It was kind of cool, actually. And then you get down to the end of the row, and you have to lift a barbell. And the elite guys, like, at the end of the day, we watch the elites, who are the ones who are going to qualify for the games. And they were doing multiples of like a clean. So that's barbell from the ground onto your shoulders, and you do a squat and you have to stand up afterwards. The highest weight for these guys was 325 pounds. And they were doing multiples of like 305 and 275 pounds before that. The rope thing works. You can climb ropes now? Cool. But yeah, like 300 pounds putting it on your shoulders and then squatting and standing up again. It is so, and you could just see it in their faces. It was insane. I definitely had a lady who was my favorite in the elite females. She was right in front of us. She was wearing an Aloha t-shirt. And she was all color coordinated. She was teal and pink. It was great. But when she went for that barbell, she just got this smile on her face, which was kind of like a, I'm gonna murder you barbell. It was fantastic. Yeah, well it was like I think it was like a 5-3-1 or a 3-2-1, Bryce. So the first time they got off the rope and did the box jumps and went to the bar, they had to do 3 at 275, and then they had to go back and do the next one at 2 at 305, and then they had to finish with 1 at 325. Yeah, I did. You're funny. Of course it did, Bryce. But yeah, she just, it's weird, but there have been studies on this. It works for running too. But if you smile when you're doing it, your brain actually starts to have more fun with it. Whereas if you sit there and grimace and freak out, your brain is just going to freak out more. Like there was one guy who just noped out. Like he just couldn't. Like he kept looking at the barbell, trying to walk up to it, and then walking away from it. Like he just couldn't do the final weight. Because it was just too scary. We only saw one person get hurt. It was a lady who, she was coming down from going up the rope, and she dropped too early. Like, she must have thought she was closer to the ground than she was. But she actually dropped probably a good 10 feet. And she definitely, like, murdered her ankle. She didn't land well. Yeah, yeah, exactly, Kara. You just want to smile when you do it. Just smile. Yeah, that was the only injury we saw, though. She couldn't put her weight on it at first, but by the time they'd gotten her, all the medics came over and they got her on her feet. If somebody was helping her to the med tent, she was putting a little weight on it, but still not fun. Definitely a hazard. But it was really a cool workout to watch. I'm always just in such awe of the rope climbing because I'm like so far away from actually being able to do that. There. So essentially we've got our bright highlight right on the edge here. We've got our little highlight here on where this curve happens because the light's going to hit there, there, there. Our reflected light down there. Yeah, the problem with D&D is that it doesn't take into account the fact that if that D6 happens to your ankle joint, you're screwed. I'm going to bring in a little bit more of a darker shadow here. It had to be at least 10 feet she went down. Yeah, it was not good. She pretty much went down and then just kept going down onto the concrete. Because her ankle collapsed under her and she rolled. Oh, yuck, yeah. Yeah, sometimes people don't know, like, what colors make them look good or bad. My mom had a book when I was a kid that was that seasonal color book. So you figured out what season you were, and then you had a color palette that looked good on you. There. So with the darker shadows, then you start seeing a shinier look, you see? Yeah, yes, because the minute you start using injury rules, you're less of a superhero game, right? That's the thing, is like high level D&D characters are just like superheroes. They can take a lot of punishment and still go. And it's no fun to have to like back out of your dungeon because your tank has like, sprained his ankle and can't walk and takes negatives on everything, right? Like it just spoils the fun. I mean, we play, let's face it, D&D is wish fulfillment. We all wish that we could just like fight monsters until we were on our last hit point. When in reality, we'd all be like screaming after losing like 20% of ours. Bye, Kara. Finley, 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 Finley. Bringing in a little bit more light. And I'll bring in some darks there too. It's so true. They get pinged by a monster, they're like, I'm dying. Never more true than in, like, World of Warcraft or Overwatch. Just making my shadows darker here on the scabbard top. And I got myself a new jump rope. It's very snazz. Oh, you'll appreciate it, Bryce. I should go get my new jump rope. It's the same ones we have in our gym, but they have a better version than what we use, where the rope turns on, is attached to the handle like on ball bearings, so it spins easier. Oh yeah, Warhammer Fantasy roleplay, very, very rough. Hold on, I'm gonna go get my new jump rope, guys. It's actually pretty, so like, it won't be boring, I promise. Kiki, I need to get my rope. Hold on. Excuse me. This is the one piece of gym equipment, like, I've been wanting a new one for a while. And it was the one thing I permitted myself to buy at the expo. Because I've been looking for one, and I like the ones in the gym. Here, I'm gonna put it under my camera. It's got a pink rope. And it's got awesome, it's got a cool case, as you can see. It's got teal and purple, the miniature painter colors for its handle. And if you look, see it turns? It turns like really smoothly and fast because they're ball bearing in here. So it's really, really cool. And they, the cooler thing, and the brand is RXSG. And I think their website is, they're an online only brand. rxsmartgear.com. rxsmartgear.com. But if you can find them at a show price, the cool thing is they had jump rope mats, and they put me on there with a tryout rope, and they fixed my form. Yes, I did a little bit. I know I can't do double unders either. That's why I got this. But the most valuable thing, Bryce, was that, like, she put me on the mat, and she had me jump rope, and this was to find the right length for me. But she also pointed out my hand position was wrong, my leg position was wrong, I wasn't moving my wrists like I should, and, and I was using a rope that was too long. Like, because I defaulted to the rope that I used it at CrossFit, right? Because these are the same brands, so I knew which one I used. Yeah, so she pretty much like she's like, okay, so your hands need to be here. This is how you need to move your wrists so you can feel the rope, and your legs shouldn't be kicking back under you. You should be lifting your knees again, lifting your knees instead. And you need a shorter rope. So she fixed all those things. So now I know like what to do, and now I should be able to like actually try to get a double under. Like, it explains why I wasn't able to get a double under, because I had all those things, like, working against me. So we're pretty good on the gold here. I'm keeping it a little more subdued. Now let's do the necklace and stuff. But yeah, so I'm really, really happy about my new jump rope. And now I can take my jump rope to CrossFit. Like, I don't have to use the gym ropes, which are pretty beat up at this point. So that's pretty awesome. Well, okay, so you would have to stimulate this, but and you'd have to have, like, your wife watch you, Bryce, but when you jump the rope, it should hit about, I'd say about a foot in front of your feet. Mine was hitting, like, way farther out than that. So when you jump rope, it should be hitting around a foot in front of you, no farther. And if it's hitting closer, then it's too short. So I had always been taught to, like, kind of measure the rope, like, up to your armpits or whatever, but that's actually not a great measurement, it turns out. Like, actually functionally, like, jumping with the rope and looking at where the rope is hitting is actually the best measurement. Yeah, about 1 foot. That's my guess. If I remember, like, what it looked like at my feet, like 9 to 12 inches, maybe. She had a target. There was a target on the mat, and you stood on the line, and you jumped, and your rope was supposed to hit the target. I think it was about 12 inches-ish. Yeah, it depends on the style. Yep. Yeah, they are not cheap ropes, but they are very nice. Get the one with the best with the handles. Don't get the super thin one. There's kind of like the racehorse of jump ropes. It's their Elite Series one. It's got a very thin cable, and it moves super fast through the air. But if you're not a good jumper yet, it's just way more than you need, and actually handicaps you. Because I was originally looking at that, at getting one of those ultra thin cords, because Andrew loves his. But he can also do a double under, and I can't. So the lady was like, it's probably more than you need right now. She's like, and the reason is that when you're starting to, like, learn, like, double unders and jump rope stuff like that, it's better if you can feel the weight of the rope so that you get accustomed kind of to where it is, and you can feel how fast it's moving. I jumped a bit with the Elite rope, and it was very fast. I did okay, but it was very hard to keep track of. Yeah. Your hands should be just off your hips. To the side. Mine would go back. Mine would go back too far. And you need to rotate your wrists when you're jumping. But yeah, I mean, the best thing is to go somewhere where you can get an assessment, but if you can't. You could also ask, I mean, if any of your CrossFit people are really, like, into it, they may be able to look at your form. I really love talking to people who know, like, absolutely what they're talking about. So going to a show and getting to talk to an expert about something is, like, always number one for me. Yeah. So I have a thicker rope, and so I can feel it move. I take my light yellow and just kind of stipple a little bit on this chain to kind of suggest that it is a chain. I want to use a really thin brush for this. Very little paint on it. My height, or my proper size of rope was the 8-foot 2-inch rope for me. But I think I'm shorter than you are, so. But the nice thing at the show was they also let me customize the handles, so I got the really spinny ball bearing handles with the heavier rope. So I kind of did a hybrid. But yeah, I'm super happy with it. Now I feel at least like I'm a little less handicapped. Now I can start actually working on getting a double under, where before I was just like, I know I'm doing something wrong. Like I could feel that I was doing something wrong, but I didn't know what it was. And you know, in class usually, good as my coaches are, they don't have time to like spend a lot of time with one person, right? They have to be spending time with everybody. I mean, that's why personal trainers exist, I suppose. Thanks, Tony. Oh, as far as rope thickness. No, it was, I mean, it was definitely the plastic coated, like, heavier rope. Like, it's like quartz. Like, I don't know. I don't know if it's in millimeters. My rope is, let me get my millimeters out here. I think it's about a 5 millimeter rope. It's around there. It's not the. They really only had two. They had the heavier plastic coated ones, and they had the really thin ones. Super thin, like a millimeter or something. It's their thickest one, I think. I don't know if they have a true heavy rope. Like a weighted rope. But yeah, it was cool, so. Hoping I'll finally be able to get a double under. But yeah, it's going to be harder. Like, the hardest thing is, like, the fact that I have to correct everything. So if I'm using my legs right, I, like, forget to put my arms in the right place. Stuff like that. Or if I have my hands in the right place and I'm, like, rotating my wrists the way I should, then I forget to do my legs. I understand dog walk time. That's what comes after stream time for me. Yeah, the cape is even better. We did the silver on the cape, the filigree last time. And the OSL is okay. I mean, I don't think that it works great on a model in daylight. So for me, this was more, I was just copying the concept art, Tony. I'm very much of the school that I feel like doing OSL, like when I'm painting the models, if he's in like daylight, is kind of like not really the way I would do it, but it works okay here. So as you say, because probably because of the OSL and the armor. But it worked okay, but it still doesn't look right to me. But that's just me, and I'm fussy. Pardon me, allergies. The allergies are killing me today. Ugh. Alright. Let's get our gold going on other parts here. Mostly a dagger, and then we have to look at the sword. Hey, Richard. You get everything. You get everything, Twistoma. You get everything at the $5 level and at the $2 level. My Patreon is a really good bargain. Oh no, I forgot to do silver around that little button. Maybe I should just repaint it gold. But yeah, when you join my Patreon, you get all of the content I have ever done for that particular level and all of the content for the tiers below you that I have ever done. So if you actually sign up for my... So I very much recommend using searching. Using keywords to search. So that you can find the stuff you want. Because I keyword everything. So, like, if you're looking for non-metallic metal, you can search for that keyword, and it should bring up everything that I've done that you have access to on NMM. Ugh. Allergies attack news at 10. Yeah, Pearl is a weird one, War Shadow, because Pearl is, I don't think Pearl really works well until you get to, like, the bust level. Like, I think maybe you could paint Pearl at a 75mm, but if you do it at a 25, or do it at a 28mm, you try to paint pearls, they're just going to look white. It's just going to look like white beads. Because at the scale, you just don't have the room. Oh, yeah. If you're painting something big, well, then your best thing is going to be just to look at photo references of pearls. And try to paint what you see. Like, that's going to be the best way to do it. I mean, David just did it on his Oni. Let me see. Let me see if I can grab that model. Hold on. Hey, good girl. Is Oni over here about that, or is he in the case? Alright, so this is David's Kublai entry. This is Oni. And David did the necklace and the wrist there to look like pearls. Let's see if we can get him in focus. But to do pearls, you need that blending. It needs to look soft. And when you try to do that on really small things, on a 28mm model, you just don't have the room to do it. So he was doing these as black pearls. It's got very dark underside. Sharp highlight. Yeah, and then there's reflected light on the bottom. You can see it a little bit. But that's the kind of effect... See that? That's the kind of effect you just don't have room to do on a model that is this size. You just don't have room to do it. Yeah, he's a nice beast. So, David pretty much was just looking at pictures of pearls and using that as reference. But if this makes sense, this is how you do it. So it's a very diffused light, but it does come up to white. And then you've got the dark, and then you've got the under reflection. But yeah. But yeah, he's a cool beast. Everything is really nice on this mini. It's got great details. I forget who makes it. I'm gonna put him over here until I can put him back. Oh. Yeah, he is kind of good at painting, you know? My husband. But, like, he does it all the time. Like, that's what you gotta understand about David. Is, like, he comes home, we make dinner, we eat dinner, and then he goes into his room, and, like, when he's into hobbying, it's like he just hobbies for like 3 hours. Like he puts on a show. Maybe he takes a break after like an hour and a half or 2 hours to go and watch, to watch a different show that he actually has to watch. But he puts on background stuff and he just paints every freaking night for hours. Yeah, right. Yeah, well, so you pretty much get the idea of how to do pearls from what you saw there. It's a very diffused highlight. It's a round highlight. And just really just look at pictures of pearls. Like find the color, find photographs of the color of pearl that you want to do. And then you're just going to have to like figure out a color that makes sense for that. And you may just have to swatch it out on paper until you can figure it out. But yeah. I haven't done anything on the Patreon for pearls because with 28s it's a moot point in my opinion. And for bigger models, so few of them have it, right? And every, like... Yeah, but opals are super hard. Although if the model's big enough, you could do opal. Opal's another one where it's just like, if you don't have a big model, don't do it. Alright. Ugh, my nose. But yeah, I don't do a lot of material for gemstones because every gemstone is different. Like, I do have crystals. I have a crystals and gemstone tutorial for sure. On my Patreon. But because they tend to be so different when they do appear. I mean, the ones that are most common are the rounded ones where you can do the GW style highlight on them. Oh, that's funny, Richard. Pretty cool, though. I mean, I spent last night... I could have painted last night, but instead I spent it putting together my new bookshelf for my office so I could get this stuff off the floor. Or at least some of this stuff off the floor. I'll put my white highlight in here. Ugh. Oh, guys. Sorry about the allergies. It's just terrible. I had a nice, like, segment there where I wasn't suffering, and now I'm suffering again. It's just awful. Gonna have to take Kleenexes along when I take Kiki on her walk. Yeah, I got one of my new bookshelves, so now I can get stuff up off the floor a bit. My office reorganization is progressing again, and I'm super happy. Like, every time I can, like, organize something and make it look like... It just relaxes me a little bit more to have things not lying around, right? Like, I don't create well in chaos, it turns out. I always thought I did, but really it was just that I was too lazy to pick stuff up. So reflection. And here I've got a little bit too much. There we go. I want to get this. I want to get the edges here a little bit more. There. Now I need another bookshelf and a miniatures case, and then I feel like I'm going to be good. I'm going to be in business. And I need to put a little bit more dark shadow in here and minimize that white highlight a little bit. Too much stuff in the room to move anything around. Yeah, that's... I was starting to get to that point, Richard, but then my brain just breaks and I can't work. Like, I hit this point where I just have to stop. And, like... And if I have too much stuff, a bunch of it gets thrown out. Or it gets, like, put aside to sell or to give away. Usually the garage is our staging area for that. But yeah. Like, I can't do it. So I'm just going to put a little bit more of a line down the side here, I think. I'm getting there. This lacks the richer yellow color of that, so I'm going to do a bit of a glaze there, too. Probably with my my rich leather slash Ready Flesh. Ah! That was too much. Tried to use the edge side of my brush, and it just wasn't going to work. Have to paint it on. Can't fleece like pack together. I mean, I don't know if you can pick it apart again, but if you don't, I know if you wind yarn into a ball, you like if you don't use it in decent time, it deforms or doesn't work as well for knitting. Don't know if that's the same thing when you've got fleece. All right. Trying to get a little bit of brighter highlights over here. So I'm glazing with my Ready Flesh, and that's giving me more of that yellow color back. It can be a miniature as a Jason skill. Pretty sure Jason Weeby could do it. I mean, woodworking can make it. You can make plinths too, right? So that's what David is doing. But that does sound rather a trial, Richard. Oh, and all y'all beta readers, for 3 favors, the book will probably hit you mid to late July, if that works for your timing. Since I've got a Richard on here, I'm going to ask. I think I should be able to finish it and have time to edit it. Yeah, alright. Yeah, keep me a space for, yeah, alright. Good. Yeah, and Bryce. Cut out a space to read it later in July. I think that'll be about when it hits you. And we'll see if we can turn it around and get it out by the end of August. It works. You don't know how long for, but it works. Good. All right. Little tiny little snap down here. Honestly, when you have tiny little things like this tiny little snap, just a white highlight is enough. Well, have a good one, Crowley. Because you're good at these things. That's funny. But yeah, that's my goal anyway. At this point, I have to grit my teeth and get the book done. David's even gone next Saturday, this coming Saturday, so I have the house to myself to workaholic a bit. All right, that looks pretty good, pretty shiny. He's almost, he's getting there, guys. He's getting there. All right, I will still need to do steel on the sword, so I need to remember to do that little button. Yeah, he is. He's going to the IPMS show. I decided I didn't want to go. I don't really have anything I want to enter. And like they're always, oh, I have goo. I pulled off my sword and I have goo. Now I need to get some blue tack to pull it off. Why don't I just grab that? So when you stick your model to the blue tack to keep it an eye on it, sometimes your blue tack attacks. So I'm just going to grab a different blob of blue tack. I'm just going to grab the blob that's attached to her and get that blue tack off. But yeah, IPMS is just like, figures are such an afterthought there. And I haven't really finished anything recently that I want to enter. I mean, I could push and get Lava Dragon done, I guess, but eh. I painted Lava Dragon more for me than for competition, so I need to get this actually a little bit. I'll take her off of it. Kind of knead it up. So you want your blue tack to be pretty sticky before you try to take off blue tack off of a part. So I'm just going to knead it a little bit, and then I'm going to start pressing it in so that I can take that blue tack out of there. And I always push at it and kind of drag. And I've got a little bit of it stuck right there, so I'm going to have to use my knife. I always seem to have things to do. Yeah, if I had something to enter, I might be more interested, but we would have had to get a dog sitter then, and we really didn't have one, so. So I can use the tip of my knife to kind of scrape up some of that, the blue tack. There we go. There we are. Alrighty. So this goes in like this across the body. We still don't have enough painted in order to attach it yet. We're almost there, though. But I need to remember this is the angle. I'm just going to use the flat of the sword blade and stick it onto there so that I can remember the angle and paint it accordingly. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, keep in mind, I also don't want a lot of disruptions now. I really need to finish my book, and I have a lot of time now that's free this summer. So the last thing I want to do right now is cram my weekends full of crap. Like, that's the thing, right? If you want to get stuff done, and you're all happy that you have a bunch of, free time coming up, don't take that opportunity to fill it up with a bunch of crap. Or you lose your free time. It's just the way it goes. I would much rather be at home just working on all the things that I never have time for. Like, I finally got some time on Saturday to work on my Amazon ads for my book. Like, and I need to be working with those ads, like, every week. So, if I'm going to get better at them and tune them and make them better ads. So stuff like that. And I enjoy working on that. It's not a trial for me. And also, I just, need more time to write. So, there we go. Okay, she's back on her plinth. Yay. Which is good, because we're working on her tomorrow. I'm just going to block in my highlights here, guys. Because we're running out of time. But I want to kind of get the feel of where my highlights are going to be. So I'm just going to look at the surfaces. I'm going to use my light yellow. Kiki must have thought that I'd left the bit, totally left, because, she did, double fall over dog when I came home last night. She must have thought I was leaving for longer. Because I got up earlier than David, and I disappeared early. She probably imagined I would be gone for a long time. So just with those highlights alone, we start to get a feel of the metal. And that's what we want to do. So then when I come back to paint this, it'll remind me that that's the angle I need to paint it at. So just doing a quick block in of your highlights if you're running out of time, but you know that you have to paint NMM at an angle that you might not remember otherwise if you have a piece that's not attached. All right. This is a good tactic. And I'm just going to pop in a little bit of shadow in here. Yeah, I really want my summer to be a nice, relaxing summer where I finish another book and I'm happy with it. That's kind of my goal for the summer. And to get my office actually set up. And probably to get rid of a bunch of crap that's in my office. Or to just organize it better so that it fits. I feel like everything is so inefficient, like in my closet. I feel like I just need to go through it all. There's bound to be stuff that I really don't need anymore. Alrighty, I think we'll call it there. That at least has a good start. Then we just have to do the hilt of the sword. Everything else is looking great. We have to highlight the black still. We have to highlight the gray. Do his eyes. And obviously the sleeves and stuff. Oh, and there's gold buttons there too. I need to remember that. I'm just going to put actually a little bit of a more solid coat there on those buttons. And I need to hit these too. So I remember to do. So we have a little bit of gold left. Alrighty. But actually I may concentrate on getting this painted and getting this all done so that we can get this glued on, because I really want to get to that point sooner rather than later. Alright folks, tomorrow hopefully my allergies will be a little better. They were pretty good yesterday. Like, even the day before yesterday, they were pretty good. So we'll be working on our Hellborn. That's where we're going right now. I need to finish some skin highlights there. I need to do the skin on her little feet down here. I think that's pretty much... Then we can start doing... Remember, we're doing white armor on her, so it'll be interesting. But yes, thank you all for coming. I hope you are still having fun with these guys. Well, hold on, we can get in focus. There we are. Yeah, thank you so much. And I will see you guys around. Have a great one. Quindy, thank you for modding. Kiki is here. She's here. Time check. The dog time check is here. Hi, dog time check. Hi, dog time check. There were so many dogs at the CrossFit thing yesterday. Yes, thank you, everybody. You're welcome, Matthew. Yes, Rhonda's stream has been moved to Tuesday afternoons. So mark up your Tuesdays for Rhonda, everybody. And I will see you guys later. Have a good one. All right, bye-bye.